Hello everyone, welcome back to another Raid Shadow Legends video, and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Today it's a big video. We've got a massive shard pool video for you guys for the Leonardo Path Event. I am filming this after, I will say, just because I wasn't happy with the original intro. But it's for the Swordmaster's Path Event. Many people want to get Leo, many people want to get their soul, and I had my clan members actually reach out to me and ask me to turn it into a video pool on their account for them. So a huge shout out to them, I very much appreciate it. But again, we get lots of good pulls, we get some bad pulls too, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And of course, if you guys want me to do this again in the future, please let me know in the comments down below. But without further ado, we'll get on to our first account, and I hope you guys enjoy. The first account we have to kick it off with will be SRW Brawler. He is of course part of my clan, and he's given me 35 sacred shards to pull today out of his 53, so we'll be going down to 18 sacred shards here. He's wanted me to put April in the progressive for him, so we've got plenty of opportunity here with 35 sacred shards. We'd honestly be hoping for 2 to 3 legendaries. I believe at this stage would probably be good rates for us. I'm not sure what his mercy is, so there's no point in kicking this can down the road. We'll get straight into it here, starting off with the first shard of the day. Here we go. Of course, you want to start off with a legendary. What are we looking for? Starting off with an epic here. Lord the Cutter, nothing too special. We'll keep going through it. Again, really looking for those legendaries here, which could be the big game changers for Brawler and his account. Sachi, nothing too useful. I believe she's got a sign of pseudo revive on her passive, where if she kills someone, she revives someone. Looking off here, and then old Hermit Yorag. He's okay if you need a reviver for the orcs. He's a decent option. Again, pulling down to 18 sacred shards here. Relic Keitha, not a great champion. We'll keep going through them. Again, we'll make sure I'll point out the really good epics, but other than that, we'll probably just keep going until we get a good legendary here, and I'm hoping for his case we do. He's really looking for a Wixwell. He's got a Titus, so a Wixwell would go perfectly on his account. Nothing too special so far that we've got to talk about. So again, looking for that Wixwell, looking for that Fabian, looking for those Armans, looking for those real game-changing account champions here. Ursa and Ice Crusher, nothing too special. I hope your guys' pulls are all going well. Hopefully we're getting a bit more luck. Miscreated Monster, very good champion. He's got an Ally Protect here and a heal, and he's got an AoE stun, which goes up. It's a 50% chance, pretty good, and he also puts a big shield out. Decent champion, a Halloween champion from quite a fair bit ago. Going on into the next one here. I've got no idea what this champion does, Caden. Keep moving on. Again, really probably with 10 shards in, I believe now. Looking for a legendary here. The rates are pretty bad. Gory, cool looking champion. I'm not sure how good exactly they are. Counter-attack champion. Yeah, looks alright. I love the character design, but the champion itself doesn't look amazing. We'll keep going through. Really want to see a legendary. Again, Master Fearmonger is not going to be that champion we are looking for. Again, this is all with the goal of just getting Leonardo. Frostbringer doesn't bring the frost. Useless champion. We're down to 40 sacred shards after this. But again, as I was saying, the goal is just to get Leonardo. So anything you summon during this is just a benefit for your account. We'll keep going down into the 30s now, and the sacred shards. Again, I've never pulled this many sacred shards on my account. Geomancer, very good champion. I'm not sure if he has a Geomancer, but if he doesn't, this is a great pull. He's known for here for his passive, which does a enemy max HP hit if the champion has this HP burn on him, which puts HP burn and weaken. He's a very, very good champion. Probably the best epic in the game, especially for boss damage. If you get him early, he can be a game changer for your account, because when you're lacking good gear, he can put out great damage, because his gear doesn't impact how much damage he does. It just depends on how much damage the boss is doing to you. So a great, great champion. Again, you can see all these reviews here. Iron Twins, Demon Lord, Hydra, Chimera. Brilliant champion. Great pull if he doesn't already have one. We'll keep going straight through. Again, I'm feeling the pressure here. I haven't got a legendary yet. And, we're pulling up to nearly going 20 ancient sacred shards at this stage. Hoskral, nothing too interesting. We're really looking for that gold. Oh, the slow really had me guessing there. Taragi the Frog, again, a great epic champion. Good for early game. Clan Boss, Ally Protect, Provoke. Big heal on himself. Is really able to cycle through those abilities quite quickly. Again, what are the rates on these at the moment? Titus, nothing great. We're down to 35 sacred shards to pull at this stage. Oh, it's not pretty. It's not pretty watching at the moment. Kinagashi, not a great champion. Still haven't seen our first legendary of the day. A second miscreated monster. Great champion. Don't know if he wants another one of them. Again, this is just painful. I believe this is our 19th or 20th pull at the moment, and we've got an absolutely nothing. I believe this guy is decently new, looks like he has a provoke, but again, nothing really to speak about. Rates haven't quite been there. We'll keep going through. He's still looking for that first legendary. Mussolini Mage, decent champion, decent support champion for the undead hordes, but again, not that great still. Again, we really just want a legendary. Still no legendary. I can't believe this rate. I think we've gone 23. It just shows how bad the odds are. First legendary, who is it going to be? Scarlord Vagal. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's an interesting champion. He's got like a kind of pseudo faction unity bonus on his account. I don't believe he's a great champion. Of course, you'd much rather have the actual faction unity champion on this account, but alright. Look, everything can't be resisted if there's at least one champion from the Lizardmen on your team. So you've got a provoke here, which can't be resisted. You've got then a decreased attack, which can't be resisted. Again, like an AoE decrease attack for 2 turns on a 3 turn on a legendary on the A3. It's just not a good skill. This is a 2 turn cooldown on a 1 turn provoke and a 2 turn strengthen. So this is a bit better, but again, he's just not quite there. When attack destroys the enemy's max HP by 5%. Destroying max HP has its place in the game, but it's not great in terms of a character. And this passive at the start of the champion's turn revives a random ally with 50% HP and 50% turn meter on a 3 turn. So an interesting champion, pretty outdated. Again, you'd much rather have Teox rather than this guy, but of course Teox isn't in the pool at the moment. Decent pool. He might be helpful for his faction wars if he still needs to do his lizards. Interesting champion. Not the game changer we're looking for. So we'll keep going on through the account now. Straight back to the epics as you would expect. Bushi here. Nothing too crazy to speak about. But yeah, good we got the first legendary out the way. Took way too many shards than I would have liked it to have taken. We've hit 25 champions summoned now for the week. Hitting that weekly quest. Arvid Quivergrass here. Attack all enemies. Strip all buffs. Alright. Epic for the Sylvan Watchers if you need one. Fenchi, I believe this is decent into Fire Knight if you get him early on. Other than that, not really a great champion. Pulling down to 18. Would really hope for at least one more one more legendary at this stage. Tyrell, not too great. Again, we want to see that gold. This just really shows you how bad the rates are in this game. There's not really much going over it. We definitely went quite high into Mercy as well for that previous pool. Who are we looking at here? Grunge, Killjoy, nothing too special. Going down to 18 again, so we're really starting to run low on the Sacred Shards at this stage. Ruella, great champion, self-buffing here, puts a lot of debuffs down on a single target. Has this nice here, fills the turn meter of all allies by 20%, places a 30% increase crit rate. Decent champion, pretty good for Sylvan Watchers. Not the game-changing legendary that we are looking for, of course. Another epic. Doom Priest. Doom Priest is a great champion. Uses her for her passive here, which is a remove 1 random debuff and heals allies by 75% of their 7.5% of their HP at the start of the turn. Great champion if you need to set up a clan boss and a cleanser. She's just great to have in. Dur the Hungerer. I use him in my Sand Devil team with his revive here. I also use him as my Demon Spawn reviver. Alright, epic, but again, you'd much rather have a Duchess or someone instead if you could get there. But decent if you're missing an epic reviver here. We've got Mistress of the Hymns. We've got 2 more shards to pull now at this stage. Hopefully we get one more legendary. I'm going to feel pretty bad for Brala at this stage if he doesn't get another one. There's our second Relic Keeper of the video. This is going to be our final Sacred Shard. Here we go. Hoping for something good. Hoping for some gold. And it's unfortunately an epic. And we have got Adriel. So that is all the shards on Brala's account. Again, he got the 1 legendary with Skull Lord Vagal. Alright, legendary. Not great. Pretty bad rates so far, so hopefully the next account picks it up. And I'll see you guys on the next account. We are back on our next account here, and that is Jabberwocky's account. As you can see, it's a pretty well-developed account there. 24 million player power. He's given me 120 primals he wants me to open. Donnie is in the progressive because he would like another Donnie, but really we are looking for that red mythical glow. So we'll get straight into it and see who we can get. First 10 pull. Here we go. Again, just looking for anything red at this stage. You are going to be expecting a fair few of the rares, given that there is the most percentage that you will get a rare out of these shards. We don't want to start off with a rare tax first. Epic there, Kaiden. Alright, nothing too much to talk about so far, so we will keep going through them. Again, 120 to pull. Really looking for a mythical or another Donny would be great for his account. Still getting all these rares, which is just very unfortunate at this stage, but again, pretty much to be expected. Getting a rare taxed off the bat here is crazy. Well, I don't know what you guys think, but I think it should basically be impossible to get rares from Primal shards. They're so hard to get, and they're basically just red ancients at this stage. Oh, these rates are horrific. We do not want to get a double rare tax off the bat here. Would be, oh no, that's heartbreaking. That is heartbreaking. We're looking at 1 epic and 29 rares after 30 pulls here. It's just something you don't want to see. They are called red ancients for this exact reason. I'm optimistic that we'll be looking at something decent in a second here. Oh my. There we go. There's another epic, but those rates are not pretty to look at. Hexia, interesting champion, Undead Hordes. Got a heal this champion and putting a increased speed on her. Nothing too interesting. 2 epics from 40 pulls so far is pretty bad odds. I mean, it's not pretty. The legendary, who are we looking at? A Molly Tankard, interesting champion. Pretty good overall. She's decent for Hydra. Probably not great for this account, but if you get her, she can be great. She's got a revive. She's decent for she's got a nice provoke here, so A1 damage increases by 50% if the target is under an HP burn, so that's pretty good overall. You've then got this nice provoke here, which is really useful in Hydra teams. Provoke, reflect damage on a 3-turn, and it's got a 50% chance of placing in provoke on a 2-turn for 2 turns instead, which is overall pretty decent. She's got a nice revive here, single target, ally with 50% HP, 50% turn meter, block damage on a 4-turn, and then she's got a cool passive here, which fills the turn meter of all allies by 15% when this champion is hit, and you can book that down to being on a 1-turn cooldown. And it goes up to 25% when she's hit by boss. So she's a great Hydra champion. Probably not going to be useful for this account at this stage, but again, on any other account, it'd probably be quite useful. There's 1 legendary. Again, we really want to see that red, however. Red is what we are chasing on this account specifically. But again, the amount of rares we've been getting are pretty detrimental. Cornelia is an interesting champion with her passive and her sleep. Not great, but interesting. I used to struggle with her against in Arena. If you don't have the right amount of damage, she can be very hard to kill. I think she's also got some solo potential for the Doom Tower bosses again. All these rares are pretty tough to see there. As I keep saying, Bloodfeather. Here we go, 2 epics in a row. Balthus Draglord. Nothing too interesting with those 2 epics. Again, we're still looking for that red. Still looking for that mythical champion to really pop out. We'll keep going through, summon another 10. But yeah, I still think they should change these just to make sure that they decrease the amount of primals you can get, but they guarantee that you cannot get this amount of rares or any rare in them, because this is just painful to watch this unfold. I believe this will be the 3rd rare tax of the pool so far, which is just shocking. It's just shocking. 1 legendary so far, though, is about on par. You'd be expecting 1 legendary for every 100 shards pulled, and then, of course, you're looking at 1 in every 200 for those mythical champions. So with 120, we've hit the legendary quota. Royala's a good champion. Marksman's a good champion. Deacon is a very, very good champion. Great person. He's got a nice turn meter boost here and turn meter decrease, then gets that extra turn. So this is on a 3-turn. He's got a decrease defense AoE on a 3-turn here, but it all gets sped up just because he gets that extra turn. So he can cycle through those abilities extremely quickly here. Not going to be useful once again for Jabba's account, but still a great champion. Again, really looking for those mythical champions. Vergis is a good champion. Ally Protect can solo Bommel and Scarab King. Royal Guard, great AoE max HP hitter with a multi-attack on his A3. Great for early game Fire Knight before you require the freezes for hard Fire Knight. Nothing too... I mean, Molly's pretty good. Really looking to hit another legendary or a mythical at this stage. Hoskrel, interesting champion, nothing great. Masked Fearmonger, pretty bad champion. We're getting more epics at this stage. Armenia is alright. She's a interesting champion with all these stuns she places, but again, not great. Not great in this current day. The red ancients here, they hurt to watch. This is why I'd recommend, if you're free to play, only trying to pull your Primal Shards on a 2x. Otherwise, these rates are pretty bad. 3 epics in this 10 pull so far. 4th epic, Narox. Here's another legendary. Shamrock. Very funny. And that, I believe, is actually the final ones if we've gone through all of them. Shamrock here, interesting champion. Places a AoE decrease speed, decreases the turn meter, and then fills the turn meter of all allies if any enemy's turn meter is below 50% on a 4-turn. He's got a lot of buffs here that he places. Of course, it's not all of them. It depends. The buffs he places depends on the HP of the champions he's putting them on. And then he's got a debuff, a buff removal from the target. And then he's also got a chance of stealing that buff. So interesting champion. Not a great champion. Interesting. But that's all the primals put on this account. All 120. Again, 2 legendaries, didn't get the mythical we were looking for, but that's alright. I'll see you guys on the next account. We are now on SRW Glide's account here, and there's a couple important things to note. 1, he's a member of the clan, he's a Hydra team leader, and 2, as you can see, I've actually got him as a special guest, as he happens to also be my brother, so I thought, why not get him in here and he can watch me do his pulls for him. Hopefully they go well. Is there any champion in particular you're aiming for?
Oh, I mean, Wixwell's always the hope.
Wixwell. Don't we all like a Wixwell? Especially, do you have a Titus? I'm pretty sure you do, don't you?
Yep.
Yeah, Titus. So we could really do with a Wixwell to get some nice Hydra damage up. But, I mean, no point in waiting. So try and upmarket us on more stuff. What are we looking to pull? All 19 Sacreds and then 30 Ancients?
30 Ancients, yeah.
Alright, let's start off with the Sacreds. Best of luck. Do you need to track your Mercy or anything?
Nah, I think I'm 7 in for the Sacreds.
7 in. So. 7 into the Mercy. We'll see how it goes. First Sacred Shard. Let's see what we get. Of course, they should get at least one.
I think I'm guaranteed one, hey.
One. Miscreator Monster. Pretty good champion to start off with. Used to be a bit better. Bit outdated now, but great champion to have. AoE stun. Ally Protect. What are we looking? Legendary. Who are we going? Snick Track.
Oh.
Snick Track.
Yeah.
Interesting champion. I think it was the first legendary I pulled on my account.
First Sacred you pulled.
First Sacred I ever pulled happened to come out as a Snick Track. Great champion. Ally Protect with a reflect damage, big heal on himself. Then he's got an A2 decrease speed on the enemy, AoE, and then he puts up a nice shield, and then he also has a decreased attack on his A1, and he also is able to put out a leech here with his passive and the reflect damage. So overall, it's a great champion. Probably not who you're looking at this stage in your account.
Oh, I'll definitely find use for him. He'll be, I think I'm lacking a bit in my third Hydra team for survivability, so.
He's a pretty good Hydra champ. I used him a lot in Chimera when I first started. Overall, great champion, especially if you're just getting into the game, but he still definitely have his uses, and he'll be good for your Skinwalkers.
Yeah, he'll help when I reach Faction Wars hard.
Yeah, Faction Wars hard. Anyway.
Looking for any orcs as well.
First legendary. With the progressive is also Donatello. So, is the champion on progressive. So now that is up to 20x. We're not going to talk about Gerhard here. No one likes to see him. Oh, the slow really gets you.
Gets me every time.
Ambassador, I believe he's used in Shogun teams. Is his very unique use there with his taunt. Looking at another epic Frostbringer. Yeah. As how Hades likes to say. Doesn't bring the frost?
No.
Useless. Bad champion. Keep going through them now. Still got plenty to go. Looking at another epic. Chani? Do you already have a Chani?
I think I pulled a Chani recently.
I think you pulled a Chani recently, yeah, anyway. Keep flying through them.
This is months of saving here.
Months of saving, I know, and it all goes so quickly. Yeah, Cornelia, interesting champion with the sleeps and the heals.
You'd hope I get another legendary.
You'd hope you'd get another legendary from this. I think I'm up to 12 in my my own Sacred Mercy, though, so you just don't know. Oh, no. That's a big guy. Arndulf. Alright, 10 more to go.
Yeah.
Got one legendary from the first 7. So decent rates so far. It's pretty painful though. They just disappear so quickly. After just months of saving.
Come on. You know, I'll be happy with Leo. at the end of the day. So
Yes, the guaranteed. Well, at least they're all not going to waste because you are getting the guaranteed champion out of it.
is that two in a row?
Nah, they're slightly different. They got the same model. It's such a bait.
Yeah,
Such a bait. Such a bait. I think that's the first 10 pulled. We got one legendary so far.
Stagnite. I don't have him.
Don't have a Stagnite. Stagnite, great champion. He's got a AoE decrease defense, decrease attack on a 3 turn. He's got an A1 double hit decrease speed, which has got to a pretty good percentage. I believe it goes up to 50%. So overall, and it hits twice, of course. And then he's got a passive here, which places an increased accuracy buff on an ally for 1 turn each time the enemy resists a debuff. So he's a great champion, really good. I use him in a lot of teams.
Yeah, that's great. Bannerlords is one of the 3 factions I need to finish, so definitely lacking.
Faction Wars normal.
Faction Wars normal. So
great champion. So great epic pull there.
Yeah.
We'll keep going. 11 down.
6 left. Oof. Come on, give me one.
It's just Isabel.
Gone.
Unnecessary because you already have Mikage.
Yeah.
Useless. Sorry, that's a bit mean, but
I think there are many epics I need.
Hilda. I believe she was the
Granites.
Yeah, Granite Epic Fusion. I didn't end up picking it. Did you pick up a copy? No. Add it to the account. Alright. 4 more. I use her. I use her. She's great. I use her for my Sylvan Watchers Faction Wars as a reviver.
She's a reviver. Shit, that's another Faction Wars faction.
Yeah, I mean her revive's not great. It's just a revive single ally on a 4 turn.
I'm stuck on the boss on that one on the stage 21.
The boss is very difficult. But turn meter boost. Sorry, not turn meter. Oh, it is a turn meter boost and an increased speed, decrease attack. I'll let you pull one quickly.
Oh,
pressure! I feel bad pulling all these all these epics for you.
Come on. Oh,
nah, you've done it. So
at least I'll be in the Mercy and I'll go on a Wixwell progressive.
Wixwell progressive. I mean, we could still get a Wixwell here. God, the rates are really bad on Shards, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
Alright, final Sacred. 16 down the drain so far. Sneak Track and a Stag Knight. And also the Sylvan Watchers.
Legendary. Yeah, good.
Yeah, okay.
I'm happy with that.
You're into Mercy. So Knight Errant. So overall, we'll do a quick, that's all 17 pulled. One Legendary, which I think is about on rate from 17.
Cyber 19.
Yeah. Did you have 19?
I did.
Oh shit, I thought you had 17. Well, yeah. I think that's still about right though. I'm not sure how many you're expecting.
Yeah, I think 19.
85,000 points now, so we're getting there. 30 Ancients, Temples.
30 Ancients, Temples.
See what we get. Do you know what you are on your Mercy on Ancients?
50 in, probably.
So
I like a good YOLO of an Ancient.
Yeah, but the rare tax is going
you
hard
can feel
at
it.
the moment.
You can see it. You can see it coming.
Offer 2x. It's not pretty. It's not pretty. Venomage.
I think that's my first dupe of Venomage. One of the first epics I got.
Venomage is a great champion. Seeing Apothecary there. Final 10 pool we're going to go with here. But yeah, Venomage is a great champion, especially for Clan Boss. If you don't already have her. Another Apothecary. Torture Helm. And a Mistress of the Hymns. Torture Helm is a fusion for Razin, I'm going to say. I'm pretty sure he's a Razin.
Yeah.
And he can also solo Sand Devil with his passive, but it's very slow. And
like
I've got no idea what this champion does. So there we go. Believe that's all your shards that you need pulled. Of course, got one legendary Sneak Track, the rest, not really that much to talk about. Stag Knight,
I'm pretty happy with Sneak Track.
Overall, I think we can be pretty happy. That's about what you're expecting, and we're sitting at 94,500 points. So again, thank you very much to the special guest, and we'll hop into the next account. Welcome to our next account. This is the account of Scuff, who is also a member of my clan. He's got a pretty well-developed account, and he's asked me to pull 100 of his Primal Shards for the Leonardo Path, so let's go straight into it here. He's asked me, Donatello here, already on the progressive event. Of course, it's 0.5% chance for a mythical, so you're probably not going to be looking at getting one at these rates, but then it is a 1% chance at a legendary, so you obviously be looking for those legendaries here. We'll get straight into it. He's got enough space. Let's start. So of course, really looking for any mythical here would be the main takeaway. Very likely you're going to get a lot of rares just because they're starting it off with a legendary, a Morrigan. Now Morrigan is a pretty good champion. We've hit the legendary very early on there, Cormac the High Peak. Morrigan is an interesting champion. She was on the progressive, I believe, for the summoning event on the weekend. She's kind of like a good but not great speed booster for Arena. She's also very good for Amius with her passive here. So her passive places a heal reduction on the enemy with the lowest HP. When you're fighting Amius, that is just Amius, and it cannot be removed, transferred, spread, or have its duration increased or decreased, which is great, which means Amius can't get rid of it. She's got a nice decreased turn meter of all enemies and an increased turn meter on your allies, plus a speed boost. So overall, a pretty strong A3 to open up with. She's then got a buff steal from a single target and placing a true fear and decrease accuracy if it is a boss. And then of course you've got an A1 here with a 50% or 75% chance of a decreased speed. So overall she's a pretty good champion. Not an S plus tier, but she's overall a very good speed booster. She's someone in live arena you wouldn't want to ban, but could still cause you some trouble. So we'll keep going through it. Again, starting off very strong there with a legendary in the first 10 pool. We'll keep making our way through all these. Again, you're expecting a lot of rares when you're pulling these primals. Of course, they are called the Red Ancients for a reason. No boosted rates, so you are looking at... you just hate to see primals just pull up rares like that. Again, we're really on the hunt for a mythical. I'm wishing him the best of luck here with these pulls. But it just hurts. It hurts seeing the Ancients... it hurts seeing the rares, sorry, is what I should be saying. Just popping out. Oh, no. Oh, there we go. Larger Mikage Epic, Infernal Baroness. Nothing too good on the epics so far that we really need to speak about. Again, the Morrigan pool was pretty good straight up into it on the first 10 pool. Seneschal, Rotting Mage. Again, we just really don't like seeing these rares coming out of these primal shards. Honestly, I wouldn't mind if Plarium changed it, maybe decreased the amount of primals you can get and then got rid of rares from them. But it's very, very painful. We'll jump into our next 10 pool. Let's keep going through it. Let's keep going through it. Again, we're looking for any new mythical on this account is basically what he wants. And then legendaries, we're looking at maybe a mythical. What are we getting? Siegfried. Siegfried, a great champion. Such a good champion. Now, that's a great pool. I'm not sure if he already has one on the account. I will check in a second. But Siegfried is a great champion. Great champion. He's great for PvP. He's great for PvE. He's got an interesting kind of setup where he can only go into his ultimate form here based on this passive. Transforms this champion into their ultimate form whenever the last living ally is killed, then grants an extra turn. So you can't swap in them manually. But he's really known for this A3 here, which does the surplus damage. So he's able to speedrun dungeons if you can get insane stats on your Siegfried. Attacks one enemy, ignores 50% of the target defense, will attack all remaining enemies with surplus damage if the initial target is killed. This does a lot of damage because the calculations that the game runs on surplus damage means the excess damage gets run back through the multiplier, so you get a lot more on that surplus damage than you do on the initial hit. So it's a really good A3. You can speed farm dungeons with him by getting the right setup with a Shuzen and just one tap any boss basically. So he's a great champion. Of course, this is a pretty good A2. He's A1 solid. His alternate form is a painful thing to deal with, especially with this passive here, where he puts up block damage on this champion for 2 turns when he's about to get killed by a fatal hit. And then, of course, he can swap over into his alternate form. Once that happened, revive all dead allies with block damage on them, 50% HP, 50% turn meter. He's got a cleanse, big heal, and block debuffs. Honestly, he's an amazing champion. I'm not sure if we already have one on this account. So I will go back and check that right now. So I've just gone and checked and he doesn't have a Siegfried. So this is a humongous pull for Scuff. Great pull. Honestly, I'm just so excited. I'm so happy for him that I didn't get... The pulls haven't gone badly. We can call it a success at this stage. 50 primals in. Siegfried, amazing, amazing S tier damage deal. Let's keep going on with it again. Still got the Donatello in the progressive here as one of the options. But, I mean... You can't complain there with a legendary Morrigan, pretty decent, and then you go straight into the mythical champion Siegfried. Such a great champion. I wish I had one on my account here. The game's not happy that we pulled him and has just given us a lot of rares and some epics. Of course, 40 more to go. Maybe you'd expect one more legendary from this. I think probably just under one more legendary, the math dictates. Neldor is a great epic for Fire Knight. Keep going through. Again, it's just, you just hate seeing the res, but once again, we're not really in a position to complain given that we have pulled a Siegfried. So we'll keep going through. Starting it off with some more rares here, really looking for that gold or that red, Hareg or Jareg. Alright, epic. Again, game is just deciding to now give us a bunch of rares after our pulls earlier. Epic, Royal Guard, great epic champion. Great epic champion with his enemy max HP, AoE, and his 4-hitter on his A3 with the decreased speed. We'll keep going through these now, running low on these primals, but again, 100 primals overall is going to get you a decent amount of points for the Path event, which is the main point of pulling all these primals, especially off the 2x. Husk, Decent Champion, and the Moonbeam is part of the Mikage fusion. I believe this is our second to last or last pull here, so again, really looking for a legendary or another mythical here. Very optimistic trying to get another mythical. Another legendary could be on the cards. It is a 1% chance, of course, 0.5% chance for the mythical. Looks like we're gonna, it'd be, oh, another legendary. Who are we gonna get? Samur Gem Cursed. Pretty bad legendary, in all honesty. Samar, is not a great champion. Could decently do with a buff. I love his character design, but yeah, he's just not great. Attack one enemy, heal, and fills his champion's turn meter. If it's over 50% heals, if it's under, he's got an A2 attack one enemy here. So he's just meant to be like a sort of damage nuking single target, and then on the A3 it's attack all enemy, steals 2 random buffs. He's just not a great champion. In all honesty, his block debuff passage is interesting, but just again, he just doesn't do enough in the modern day of Raid Shadow Legends. So that's all. 100 primal pulls, got 2 legendaries, of course. We got the Morrigan and the Samar, and then the big prize of all was the Siegfried from the mythical pulls. I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you guys on the next account. Welcome back to our next account. We are on the account of Mario, level 115 million player power, and he's given us a lot of shards to pull here today. So we'll be pulling 40 ancients, 2 primals, 7 voids, and 21 ancient shards. We will, of course, start with the sacreds here. Nothing on the progressive. The only thing we'll be putting in for the progressive is on the void shards. The rest of them, we won't be putting anything in. So we're going to pull until we have 6 sacred shards left. We're probably looking for at least 3 legendaries here. Let's get straight into it. Starting it right off the bat. Epic to start with. Nothing too interesting. Melga Steel Girdle. Again, really going to be looking for some nice game-changing legendaries at this stage. Preferably some of the newer ones. We're looking at Fabian, Armand, any of those. Another Newt would be great for this account. Nothing too much on the epics is going to change a whole lot of what this guy's account is going to be looking like, what he was going to be able to do. So we're going to keep pulling through these now. Again, it's only a 6% chance at a legendary until you start going into Mercy. But the Mercy on the Sacred Shards is pretty bad. You're looking at a 2% increase after every shard over the 12th one you've pulled. So it takes a while to go up. So on the 13th shard, you're looking at around 8%, etc., and you climb all the way up. So the Mercy system on these shards is not great. In comparison, first legendary of the day, who are we looking at? Corrado Fox Hunter. Not a great champion by himself. He's interesting in terms of he's paired with Yumiko. Here's the pairing to that. So Yumiko, of course, is a great Void legendary. Unfortunately, Corrado just isn't quite on the same level. So A1 attacks one enemy 3 times. Each hit's got a 20% chance of placing weakened for 2 turns. That books up to a 30% chance. You've then got an attack one enemy 2-turn stun, grants an extra turn and resets the cooldown of this skill if Yumiko is on the same team and this kills an enemy. So it gets a lot better if Yumiko is on the same team. But if it's not, it's just a single target 2-turn stun on a 3-turn cooldown, which is alright, but again, I mean, you compare this to Armand's. Armand's has an AoE stun for 1 turn, but it's a turn meter steal. So you just compare it to Armand's and you just realize how underwhelming these champions are. And this one is an attack or enemy and 100% chance of placing block active skills when booked for 2 turns, and it cannot be resisted if Yumiko's on the team, and this is on a 4-turn. Block active skills is pretty good, but again, it's probably not enough in today's Raid Shadow Legends. You need more value than just a 2-turn block active skills on a 4-turn cooldown. Interesting champion, interesting design, but otherwise than that, he's not a great champion, so we'll keep going through them. Again, good to start off the legendary early then, so we can start building it back up, and hopefully we can get at least another 2. Romero is nothing too interesting to talk about so far. Is there any champions you guys are looking for specifically? Feel free to let me know in the comments below. I mean, personally on my account, which I'll be going to later, I'm really looking for a Wixwell. That is the main void, that is the main legendary champion, non-void, that I am looking for on my account. I've got a Titus, I've got a 5-star soul on my Titus, so really big game changing for me if I could get one. But of course, the odds just are not good whatsoever. to get the champion that you want. Even on the progressive, it's around a 5% chance. So if you take out the progressive, you're looking at, I don't know, under a 1% chance that you're going to get the champion you want, which is pretty bad odds. Priest Ornn, decent into Dragon. He's got poison sensitivity. So it can be decent early game if you grab him, but nothing too special. Sentinel, again, nothing too interesting to talk about with regards to him. We've got an Adriel here. Alright champion. Again, most of these epics these days are just alright. They're good if you need someone that accomplishes what they do in that faction, especially for faction wars, but once you start pushing into the later game, you start building up more legendaries and the epics just become a lot more redundant at that stage, unfortunately, unless you're going into an area like Curse City or Doom Tower where there's restrictions. Torture Helm, I believe, is a Razin fusion, but he's also great because he can, as I said earlier, solo Sand Devil. Wyvern of the Silken is the Sylvan Watcher's Reviver. Deacon, great champion. Again, spoke about him earlier. He's got that turn meter boost and that turn meter decrease with an AoE decrease defense, so we'll keep going right through it. Who are we looking at next here? Looking at Oathbound, nothing too special. So we'll be pulling down to 6 Sacreds here. So we've still got plenty to go, over halfway through. Vrask, nothing too special with regards to him. Again, really looking for another legendary at this stage. I think it's probably been around 10 since our previous one. Really would be nice to see that game-changing legendary pull up. Who are we looking at here? A Luithia. They've got so many characters in this game, so many epics that look like they've got the exact same skin model. Another one of these Undolphs, just pulled him a couple shards ago. It's amazing how often you can get the same epic pulling up next to each other, given there's so many in the game. Kunoichi, interesting player skin, nothing too special to talk about with regards to her. Another epic coming out here. Delaja I actually need on my own account for the Mikage fusion. Could really do it for Delaja. Yeah, on my account, of course. World of Legendary, who are we looking at this time? Saito. Interesting champion here, Undead Hordes. What are we looking like? We've got an attack one enemy 2 times. We've got a 50% chance of placing a decreased defense for 2 turns after the first hit. So it's only be on the second one, and then turns this into an attack 3 times if the decreased defense is placed. We've then got attacks one enemy before attacking self-bust with increased attack and increased crit damage for 2 turns if this champion's defense is higher than the target's defense. Increases the cooldown of this skill by 1 turn if the target has more than 50% HP after the attack. Places an increased attack buff and a 30% increased crit damage buff on the champion for 2 turns if this champion's defense is higher than the target's defense. I don't know how I feel about that, because reading that, it seems to indicate that you want to build him. He's an attack-based damage dealer. His skills stay off attack. So why would you want him to have higher defense? You'd want him to... If anything, he should probably have lower defense than the target's defense, especially for PvE. So I don't think that's a great skill. This one is interesting. I mean, you'd rather just the account kill the target that it's going after. Don't know how I feel about that A2. A3 here, we've got attack one enemy, then attacks all enemies except the initial target if there are 3 or more enemies alive. Inflicts 20% more damage on the first hit if the target has higher max HP. So this is a much easier checkbox to hit. I don't like this first checkbox we got going here. And the passive will ignore 7.5% of enemy defense for each time this champion attacks the same target enemy in consecutive turns, or attack stacks up to 30%. Ignore defense is always good, but again, this is going to be something that's a bit harder to hit, more beneficial on his A1 at that stage. But yeah, look, interesting champion. Have a look at the reviews. Not great. I think his kit isn't just quite... It reads a bit dysfunctional at that stage. It doesn't look like it synergizes that well. So not obviously a champion you'd be looking at. Broodlord here, got to provoke on his A1, can be decent for Lizardsmen when you're starting off. We've got Shadowbones here, which looks like it's the exact same skin as Maneater, except obviously not a Void champion. Going in now, we are looking at Basilisk. Nothing too special with regards to him. But yeah, 2 legendary so far. Both of them have been interesting. Second legendary specifically was not that great, but that's okay. Again, there's so many legendaries in the pool now, you can't be expecting to get a great one every single time you pull. Hoping to see at least one more, I think, and that would probably be a good position for this account. Another Cornelia popping up. We've seen this now a couple times already in this video. Very popular champion. Looking at a Cormac the High Peak, pretty bad champion here. We're running under 10 Sacred Shards left to pull now at this stage. We're looking at a Jareg, so I believe this one takes us down to 6 more Sacred Shards to pull on this account here. Bloodfeather, sorry. Looking at a Razin Fusion piece, I believe she is. So again, not that helpful with this account. Hatatsu can be good for early game clan boss. Again, gets phased out in later stages of the game, just as you get better champions. Grunge Killjoy appearing once again here. Really flying through these Sacred Shards at this stage. We've got another Kaiden. 8 left to go, so we've got this one and another one. At least another legendary, please be something good. Oh, Karen the Harvester. Karen the Harvester is a new champion, a very cool Lizardman champion. We'll have a quick look at the reviews. Seems okay so far. I believe their kit is based around sleeping and putting target skills on cooldown. So we'll have a look here. We've got an attack or enemy, 50% chance of placing a 30% decreased speed debuff for 2 turns, which books up to 75% chance, and then steals 5% of each enemy's turn meter. Steals 10% if they are under a decreased speed, which could be quite good, because if you're going against an arena team, you could be stealing up to 40% turn meter, otherwise it's 20% turn meter, so it looks pretty good at the moment. This is an attacks one enemy, puts all of the target skills on cooldown, has a 75% chance of decreasing the turn meter of all enemies under a sleep debuff by 15%, has a 75% chance of decreasing the turn meter of all enemies without a sleep debuff by 30% instead. So those both go up to 100% chances. So I'm assuming his A3 then is the sleep. So it's an attack or enemy will have a 100% chance when booked to placing a sleep debuff for 1 turn, ignore block debuffs, which is pretty cool, and then goes into an extra turn. So this is on a 4 turn, but really it's on a 3 turn because of that extra turn you get. Ignoring block debuffs is great. AoE sleep, so I'm assuming you go in with this, you sleep, you get the extra turn, and then you pick a target ally, and you pick a target enemy specifically, and you take them out of sleep, put their skills on cooldown, and then you decrease the turn meter of the rest of the champions still under sleep there. So it seems like a pretty good PvP champion here. We'll have a look at his passive. When an enemy attempts to increase their turn meter, decreases the value of that turn meter fill effect by 25%. So good anti-speed boosters here. And then it's just saying that it won't activate twice. And then the active effect here is whenever a sleep debuff is removed or expired, instantly activates Thresh Master skill on the target, which is this one. Not bad. Does not work if the sleep debuff is removed by damage, if there are multiple champions on the team with the skill, etc, etc. So as long as you're not, you probably wouldn't want actually this AoE A1 here at this stage, because if you've got a bunch of targets under sleep, this will wake them up and then you won't get to activate this active effect here. So I'm probably a bit of, losing a bit of synergy here with this A1, but it's a pretty good A1. Overall, looks like a very good kit. Could see some usage as well for faction wars, specifically with sleep. Isn't it hard if there's any trials for that? But yeah, overall, pretty cool champion, new champion, so can't complain. I doubt he would have one on his account as well. So very good. We've hit the 3rd legendary there. Very good turnout. Another Cormac, the High Peak. We're going into one more Sacred Shard pool. We'll see what we're looking like. And another epic to finish it off. And we've got a Deathless. So very cool so far. Overall, pretty good pool there with Kieran the Harvester. So he will be very happy with that, I'm assuming. So we do still have a couple more pulls to do on Mario's account here. I've received some more instructions that he wants to pull some of these Primals, Voids, and Ancients again. So we'll go straight into these Primal Shards, both pulling 2 here. Honestly, you're probably looking at rares is going to be what you're going to get from these 2 Primals. Starting off with the Spike Head, not surprised. And then we'll go into the second one. Mythical will be great, 0.5% chance, and here we go. Hit the other rare. That's alright, to be expected. So we've got 7 Voids now that we're going to pull. Shuzan is on the progressive, which he instructed me that he wants. The other one's not going to have any progressive champion on them. So we'll go straight in again. We're looking at a 0.5% chance of hitting a Void Legendary. And then to get the one that's on the progressive, you're looking at around a 10 to 15% chance, I believe it is. A bit higher for Voids than it is for non-Voids, just because there's less Void Legendaries in the pool. Painkeeper, decent champion. But again, not looking... It's unlikely that we will get a legendary out of pulling these Void Shards here, just because, again, 0.5% chance. So you're looking at 1 in every 200 pulled, and we're only going to be pulling 7. So only a couple more to go yet, not even an epic to speak about, but that's okay. Expectations are that we won't be getting an epic, so we've got 2 more to do, including this one. Another rare. Final void. Will we be able to pull the void shard on the last pull of the day? The void legendary? Unfortunately not. Alright, so those are all the voids done, and now we will move straight on to our ancients here. So we've got 21 ancients to pull, so we'll do a single pull to start with, and then we'll go into the 2 10 pulls. Unsurprisingly, we get rare taxed. Not rare taxed, but we get the rare to start with. Straight into our first 10 pull to go here. Looking for epics, looking for legendaries. Most likely looking for legendaries. 2 epics is pretty good rates on a 10 pull of ancients. Oh, for 2x and we hit a legendary! Archbishop Pinthroy. I'm pretty sure he's not a great champion, is my understanding of it. He's got an increased accuracy, heal reduction, block buffs. He's actually could be decent for Hydra with this kit. Increased accuracy and block buffs. And he's got a big heal. Actually, it looks like he might be a decent champion. If 4 more allies are alive, also places shield on there. For 2 turns equal to 30% of their max HP. Debuffs, removes all. I mean, looks like an interesting Hydra champion, especially if you're starting off. I think he probably loses a bit of his benefit in the later game, but overall, very, very lucky to hit that 0.5% chance there. Probably would have preferred to hit it on the voids, but I mean, you can't be picky. There's the legendary on these ancient pools. Going into our second one, I doubt we'll be getting anywhere near the same luck as we did on the first one. An epic again is not bad, and that will be finishing it off on Maria's account. So what do we get? 4 legendaries in the end. Got the Kira and the Harvester, which I think is the main takeaway from this, and we got the Pinthroy on the 0.5% chance on the Ancients. So thank you very much, Mario, and I'll see you guys on the next account. Welcome to our next account. Today we are on the account of Loopy here, level 86, 4.6 million player power, and he's given me permission to pull the rest of his shards here. So we've got 7 Primals, 25 Sacreds to pull. Donnie is on the progressive chance. Again, very low percentage chance you hit the Donnie, especially on this. You're looking at about 5% chance if you hit that legendary in the first place. We'll get straight back into it once again. Best of luck here to Loopy. Hopefully we can land that Donnie on progressive just for him. Royal Guard, great start. Royal Guard's great champion. Spoken about him plenty throughout the video, I'm sure, so far. Enemy max HP. Multi-hitter with a decrease attack. And we've got a Drake here kicking it off. Nothing too good so far. I mean, the Royal Guard's great. Drake is slightly less so. Looking at an Atur here. Again, Barbarian. Nothing too important to speak about. Really looking for the legendary. That slow screen gets you every time. Taragi the Frog, once again, great early game champion with the Ally Protect and the Provoke. Can be really good for early clan boss teams with that Ally Protection before you start moving away from that. The Bard there, not too great, nothing very interesting. Who are we looking at here? We are looking at a Carlinia, got the candles on her head, but that's about all she's got going for her at the moment. Once again, pulling every one of these sacred shards. We're hoping for something good. Necro Hunter, you'd expect at least 1 legendary from these shards. It would be very disappointing if you didn't. Here we go! Oh my god, we've got an April O'Neil! Now, that is very interesting because, of course, limited time champion here, one part of the Turtle collaboration, not the one that we had in the progressive event, which is crazy to think of. I mean, the odds of hitting one of these are so incredibly rare. It gives it away with this pop-up down the bottom. I would have assumed if we'd hit any of them, it would have been Donnie because he was on the progressive. But that just shows to you that the progressive doesn't work. I mean, April is an okay champion, probably the worst one. It's got an interesting A3 here. So she's built for Arena, but the issue is she struggles against Stone Skin, and everyone's built in Stone Skin. So she's going to increase accuracy and then decreases the turn meter of all enemies by 20%. On a 4 turn, gets an extra turn. Again, decreasing the turn meter of all enemies doesn't work when enemies have Stone Skin on, so you'd much rather like a turn meter fill than a turn meter decrease in this instance. Her A1 is probably the best bit about her kit here. It books up to a 75% chance of placing any one of these hard CCs for 1 turn, then places a perfect veil. So this is a very good skill. 75% chance of placing some of these debuffs is incredibly good. Her main letdown, I think, here is her A2 as well. So her A2's got 100% chance of stealing all buffs, and then also has 100% chance of stealing all of the target's turn meter, then places Nullify and Seal. But the issue is Nullify and Seal, they're very complicated debuffs when you read through them. They do a lot, so Nullify does a lot, and then Seal also does a lot. Seal's like blocking like abilities from gear sets and etc. here, and I don't think she places the Master Seal. I think she just puts this normal Seal debuff down, but they're just not that great. debuffs. Like, they're good and annoying, but a lot of skills will still occur even with them on. So you'd really want to add a hard lockout. Her passive is interesting too. Of course, here, this passive effect has a 50% chance of activating it on an enemy when they gain an extra turn or an instant turn. You'd really like this to be up at 100%, 50% is just not great. And I mean, her passive is a lot of reading, but it's basically when they have their skill activated or any of those things done to them, it decreases their turn meter by 10%. So again, 10 meter decrease doesn't work with Stone Skin. So an interesting champion, not the person I was expecting to see from this collaboration, but we'll keep going. I'll have to check if he already has an April. If he already has an April, you'll probably be a bit disappointed with that. I don't think you'd really need 2 Aprils. I mean, 2 is better than none, but I'm assuming he's already done the Titan event that we had for April. But again, very funny to get that pull. Such a low percentage chance of that happening. We'll keep going through the Sacred Shards. She might have a good use for Faction Wars, depending on the progression of the account. She can be quite good for that, just with all the crowd control that she brings. But yeah, she just struggles. She's mainly an arena champion, but she really struggles against Stone Skin, and the Seal and Nullify, the main parts of her kit, just aren't as great debuffs as you probably would like them for them to be. Very slow then on that pool. Hopefully that means we're getting a legendary and we're not going into an epic here. Another Deathless for today. Again, we're really looking for some more beneficial champions to go on this account. It was pretty cool to get the April, but not amazing, I would say. Hilda was part of the most recent fusion, I believe it was. Actually, it might have not been for, not the most recent fusion. Ultimate Gaelic here, epic champion, pretty good. Hilda would have been the fusion for Granite Doorkeep. I believe she was the fusion epic for that. So overall, she's a pretty decent champion. I actually forgot to get a copy of her myself on my account. I had all of hers put aside, but forgot to fuse them. Looking 7 more Sacred Shards here left to pull. Plenty of opportunities still left to get a nice legendary on this account to go with that April we have already pulled. And then of course we still do have those Primal Shards to pull, 0.5% chance of hitting that mythical. I would love to do that for him on his account. Kaitis, again, seen him multiple times already today. Not a great champion. Looking at another Tyrell, we've also seen Tyrell pop up quite a lot. I mean, decent with the sleep, but again, not a great champion here. 4 more, including this, left to pull. Looking for 1 more legendary would be really good. Aishma is part of the Mikage fusion, so if you need an Aishma for Mikage, there she's good. Other than that, she's not really great. We've got a Vildrax here, nothing too special. Down into our final amount of Sacred Shards here. We've got a Kellen the Shrike, not a great champion. Final Sacred Shard, hoping for a legendary champion. Fingers crossed, what are we gonna get? And it is a legendary. Who are we getting? I've got no Shemneth? I've got no idea how to pronounce her name. But moving forward, we'll have a look at what she does quickly. I've never really seen her before. We'll check the reviews. Alright, the reviews seems like she's mainly a Faction Wars champion, which isn't what you never want. And legendary, decreased defense, attack 2 times on the A1. And then we've got a transfer all debuffs from this champion to a target enemy, then attacks the enemy 3 times. Then we've got an increased duration of all debuffs, decreased duration of all buffs, increased duration of all buffs on this champion. So each hit does a specific thing. This is on a 3-turn cooldown, single target. I mean, it's like a cleanse from their self, but it's a transfer, so it's better than a cleanse. And then, you know, it's an alright skill, but only on a single target. This one's attack all enemies. First hit removes all buffs. The second hit will ignore 20% of the target's defense that have no buffs. I mean, so an attack-based nuker, she seems to be, especially with this ignore defense. Looks interesting, but doesn't look great. Increases this champion's accuracy by 10 for each buff on each enemy, for each debuff on the enemy. So that's nice. You love a bit of damage scaling on the passives, but again, interesting champion. Doesn't look outstanding, but could be very useful when it comes to Knights Rev Faction Wars there. So that is all the Sacred Shards pulled. We'll be going now. We've got 7 primals to pull. This is where the money shards are. We are looking for that mythical champion. We'll see what we can do. Donnie is still on the progressive, of course. Didn't hit the Donnie on the Sacred Shards. Starting it off with a rare. It would be pretty sad to see a rare for all 7 of them, but again, it's not out of the question because they are your red ancients. Here we go. Getting an epic Sanguinial. Nothing too special. I mean, we're really looking for that mythical or legendary from these. Would be absolutely astounding. Sentinel, nothing too special. Odds are not in our favor at the moment. 2 epics is pretty good rates. Clod Breastfeeder, Beast Feeder, not who we're looking for. Another rare. Another rare. Berserker, I mean, it's just sad seeing pulling the primals off the 2x. The rates are just so bad. Looking at another rare, are we going to be able to hit big on the final one here like we did on the Sacreds? Looking for that red, looking for that mythical, and it's going to be, unfortunately, a blue with a corpulent cadaver. Had his momentary time in the sun, but is now basically useless. So thank you very much, Loopy, for letting me pull on your account. Best of luck with your new champions, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hello everyone, welcome back to our next account. Today we are back on Rumpy's account here, and he's given me permission to pull all 120 of his primal shards. Raphael is on the progressive, 0.5% chance at that mythical, 1% chance at that legendary. We're looking at probably getting at least one legendary in this pool. We're looking for the chance at the mythical. Let's go straight into it and see what we can get. First 10 pull here. Very excited, looking for something good, hoping for something good. Again, red ancients, so you're not sure what you will be getting out of them. Obviously, a lot of rares is on the cards at this stage. One epic to start off with, moving on into our next 10 pull here, hoping for something really good. But again, you never know. Alright, plenty of rares coming out at the moment, plenty of rares. Again, looking for anything that isn't blue, and that would make this much, much better. We're going to get rare taxed, and we've been rare taxed. You hate to see it. Hate to see the rare tax coming out. We'll keep going. Keep going. Hopefully we can get the progressive champion. Of course, it's a very small percentage chance. You're looking at least a 5% chance or so if you hit the legendary. Again, you would hate to see 2 rare taxes in a row. Here's the legendary. Who are we getting? Knocked the Paralyzer. Interesting champion. I have him on my account. He's got an AoE sleep with a poison. He's then got an ally protection with continuous heals. He's got an A1, which is a 50% chance of placing a decreased accuracy, which books up to an 80% chance. Don't know why it's just not 100. And then she's got a great heal on her passive here when the poison ticks. So overall, decent champion. Not great, but has her specific uses. Can be used, of course, in Sand Devil for the sleep. Decent in Faction Wars for specific stages that require sleeps or specific criteria that has to be met. But we will keep going. That is the first legendary pulled. Hopefully we can at least get another one. Again, these primal shards, pull so slowly through them. Getting one epic so far in this pull. Keep going through. We're really looking for that red. Really looking for that red, and that is what we would be happy with at this stage, especially on this account. Of course, level 100, 22, 24 million player power, so not much is going to move the needle. Two epics in a row. Ugo's a very great epic, a mythical champion. We've pulled an R-Base, the Stonehorn. R-Base is a brilliant champion. Very good mythical to pull on this account. So R-Base here in her primary form here has got an attack all enemies A1 with a block actives on a 40% chance. She's then got an A2, which is a full cleanse, increases the duration of all ally buffs by 1 turn, and then places a revive on death for all allies for 2 turns. So overall, very good skill there on her A2, and that's on a 3-turn cooldown. And she's got a big turn meter fill by 30%, places a increased attack and an increased accuracy for 2 turns on a 4-turn cooldown. She's also got a very nice passive here when has a 30% chance of placing a petrification on an attacker for 1 turn whenever an ally is attacked while under revive on death. So she's really good for arena in this form as a very good speed lead, and she's also got a nice speed in all battles by 25%. We can then go check out her alternate form here, which is also incredibly strong. So we got an A1, attack 1 enemy, decreases the target's turn meter by 30%, then places a 15% continuous heal on this champion for 1 turn. Also places a continuous heal on the ally with the lowest HP for 1 turn. She's then got an attack all enemies leech and HP burn debuff on a 3-turn cooldown. And then here is her really annoying skill where she's able to put Stone Skin on herself and a taunt. Stone Skins for 1 turn, taunts for 2 turns on a 4-turn cooldown, and then puts continuous heal on allies for 2 turns. So she's very annoying because she'll taunt, so you can only attack her, and then she'll put up the Stone Skin. Of course, it isn't the gear set Stone Skin, so it doesn't have that 50% chance of not being removed, but of course, still incredibly strong. And then she's got this: when attacked, places a 30% decreased speed debuff on the attacker for 2 turns, occurs once per hit. And then also decreases the damage taken by allies from all skills by 20%. This champion will receive that damage instead. So she's such a good champion, such a good pool. I mean, if you talk about great arena champions, R-Base is an amazing one. I'll quickly duck out because I believe there is a soul sitting on this account waiting for this R-Base. So I'll give you guys a little special sneak peek here. We've got a 5-star R-base soul sitting on this account. So if we go here, we go to the Ascensions, we will scroll down until we get to the R-base. If we can find, she's in the reserve vault, so we'll go grab her out of the reserve vault here. Take her straight into the collection, put her into the Ascensions here, looking for the R-base. Right, so we'll go and whack on these brews now to get her to max level. Got to quickly use the potion mixer, so we'll put in the 10 here, into the Superior, bang. We've got a 6-star Ascended R-base, and here is the money move, where we go into the Altar of Souls, 5-star soul waiting, bang. R-base. 5-star soul, huge boost for this account. I mean, it's things like this that really move the needle, especially with the soul sitting there. Great pull, hit that 0.5% chance, so obviously very happy. So 80 more primals to pull. I'm not sure if we're going to beat that, but we'll keep going on anyway. Very, very happy with that pull. Someone like that is very rare to get. Of course, 0.5% chance, and then it's got to be a mythical that moves the second mythical. Who have we got him with? Oh no, it's a Mikage. Oh no, Mikage. So Mikage is the free mythical you get, of course. You might want 2 Mikages, but again, she's probably not the mythical you want to pull. She's got the ally attack, she's got the decreased duration of all enemy buffs, increased duration of all ally buffs. She's then got a shield. Her alternate form is great. She's got an increased accuracy, and she's got a strip for weaken. She's then got a stun, and a decreased turn meter, and then yeah, she's also got that sleep on her A1. So she's an incredibly good champion. Again, I'd say probably not the mythical you're looking for, especially because you get one for free. So 2 of them might be good, but any more than that, and you probably don't want them unless you're looking to empower. You probably just prefer something else. But again, 2 mythicals so far is incredibly good rates. We'll keep going on. These are just things you don't expect to happen when pulling on these accounts, specifically because it's a 0.5% chance, as I keep going back to. 2 mythicals, not in any position to complain though whatsoever. Keep going, bringing us back to reality there with those rares and those epics. We'll keep ticking through now, seeing what we can get. Of course, very unlikely we get anything really game-changing now in terms of mythicals or legendaries. We've probably used most of our luck up already, but yeah, look at that R-base, such an amazing pull. The 5-star soul was already sitting there waiting for her to go, so feeling very good that we could get that for the account. And then of course the Mikage, maybe not quite as good of a pull. If he doesn't have a second one already, he might choose to build it out, or he can empower his first Mikage. So overall, very happy so far with those 2 pulls. Royal Guard, 3 epics is pretty good, considering these rates. So we'll keep going here, probably running quite low on the primals now to pull. Another epic here, Talia. So we hit 1 legendary, 2 mythicals. Very good rates, very, very good rates. You can't be complaining about that. Another epic Wuji. Alright, another temple. Let's see what we can go. Maybe looking for another legendary, maybe looking for another mythical, but again, the odds aren't in your favor at this stage. We'll keep going through. 2 epics so far, another rare. Again, highest percentage chance of getting rares when you're pulling these primal shards, and we're going to go into another temple here. I believe this might be the last one. We've definitely feels like we pulled it off, starting it off with a legendary, and we've pulled a Shiromani. Interesting champion. I don't believe she's amazing, but might find some specific uses on this account. We'll break down her kit in a second very quickly. Finishing off with an epic, and we do have 1 more temple to go after this. Shiromani is interesting, places freeze, so could be useful for hard Fire Knight. It's got heal 1 ally by 20%, and then places a heal, continuous heal on 2 turns for targets with max HP. Attacks all enemies, places freeze. You know what? I take that back. She looks like a pretty bad champion. Doesn't do that much. Not a great champion. Not much to talk about. We'll go straight into the next temple here to finish it off. I believe this should be it. Starting off with the rares as to be expected. Stout Axeman, Valerie. Hopefully we don't get rare tax to finish it off. I mean, not something you're really looking forward to seeing at this stage. And we have not been rare taxed. And that is the end of that. Yeah, very good pull session. So thank you so much to Rumpy for letting me pull on his account. Of course, great that we could get the Arbaeus and the Mikage. 2 mythical pulls is amazing, and I'll catch you guys on the next account. Hello everyone, welcome back to our final guest account here. Today we are on the account of Daniel, level 124 million player power, and I've been given permission to pull all of his shards for the Leo event apart from his Primal shards. So of course, I think we've got to start off with the Sacred Shards. They're the most interesting. and I think have given us the higher potential benefit of getting a legendary. He's put in his chosen champions here already, so he really wants April from these progressive chance events. Again, only a 5% chance, so we wouldn't be expecting it. Let's go straight into it, starting off with the sacreds here. 21 sacreds to pull, looking for at least one legendary. Muslim Mage, again, alright champion. Not too special though. If you need him for faction wars, he can be useful for that. Hatatsu, good early game clan boss champion, but again, once you get past that, you start looking at more champions that provide more benefit towards your account. Knights Errant, nothing too special. Really looking to hit this April on this account at this stage with the progressive event. Farrakhan the Fat, best epic ally attacker there is in the game. He's such a great champion. He brings that HP burn as well, and of course he teams up with everyone apart from himself to attack the whoever you've selected to, whether it be a boss or the enemy team. So great overall champion here. Spider, not great. We'll keep flying through these sacred shards here, really looking for that gold to pop up. That would be the main takeaway from this hope. Well, I'm hoping that we could get at least 1 or 2 legendaries from this pool session. Armenia, again, she brings a fair bit to the team, but a pretty outdated champion. At this stage, we started off with the legendary. Who are we looking at? Artak. Artak was a free login champion from a while ago. Artak is a great champion, can solo hard 10 of the Ice Golem. He's got an attack all enemies 2 times. The first hit has a 75 booking up to 100% chance of placing HP debuff for HP burn debuff for all enemies for 2 turns, and then he's got a restore max HP, and then he's got a heal on it, and this is on a 3-turn cooldown, so great. And then he's got here, which is an activation of the HP burns, and then he's also got a decreased attack on all enemies, which is great, and then he's got a nice A1 which extends the HP debuff burn duration by 1 turn. So he's great for soloing Ice Golem if you build him in a regen set, and then whenever a HP burn is debuff activated, destroys his champion's max HP by 5%, by 50%, and increases all of his stats. But then he's also got this restore destroyed max HP. So he's a very interesting champion, great if you need someone to solo hard 10. Other than that, he's good for early game Hydra, but he kind of falls off a bit after that. So overall, pretty decent champion, very good pull. He was a free login legendary, but you cannot get him anymore if you don't already have him. Stag Knight, great champion. He's got a nice decreased speed on his A1, and these A2s and AoE decrease attack and decrease defense, so very good champion. He's got an interesting passive to go along with it. Keeping on going through here, we're probably looking to at least hit 1 more legendary, and I think I'd call that a successful shard pull of those sacred shards, but again, nothing is guaranteed. Cagebreaker got an interesting animation, but again, not too good of a champion by himself. Who are we looking for? An old Hermit Yorag. Alright, I believe he's a reviver, but again, nothing too good for this account specifically. Eva, Hellgazer, attack, epic, just from the demon spawn, so nothing too special with regards to that. Again, Gory. I think the Shadowkin have actually very cool animations and designs here. Look, just an AoE attacker with some counter attack and some freeze. Could be decent. I like the actual animations on that character, but nothing too special. Overall, again, here we have Grimskin. Looks like a man-eater, except he isn't a man-eater. Everyone would much prefer to have a man-eater. And here we go. Another epic. Who are we looking at? Kalia. Nothing too great. Moving on to our final 3 sacreds here to pull, including this one. Another Farrakhan the Fat. Again, 2 Farrakhans the Fat. If he needs to empower his Farrakhans, he's definitely got some options now with some great ally attacker. I would love one for my account. Personally, got 1 more epic here. Bovos Sharphorn. I used him actually for my faction wars for Skinwalkers. Final sacred shard. Can we get a legendary? And unfortunately, we've got an epic here, and we've finished it off with a Necro Hunter. So that's all done. 21 Void Shards. We'll start off with a single pull, looking for that Shuzen. Hopefully we can get a, of course, 0.5% chance of getting a legendary, and then you're looking at a 10 to 15% Tree Shot. Tree Shield Knot is a great champion. I used him for my Sylvan Watchers faction wars to complete it. He provides great survivability to the team, and of course he's a rare, so he's very easy to build out. Fellhound, good campaign farmer. Really looking for those 2 epics in a row here. Demitha is a great champion, especially for a clan boss. You can use it to build a 1-key Ultra Nightmare team. 2 epics is pretty good rates, but again, we are looking for that legendary. Hopefully we can get it on this next 10 pull here. What are we looking for? Looking for that gold. Can we get it? Can we get the gold? That's what we're looking for. So far, 5 blues to start with, 6 blues. Again, very likely we do get rare taxed at this stage. Will we be able to pull it off? Unfortunately, we've been hit with the rare tax, which is very unfortunate. But again, to be expected when you're looking at not great rates. I mean, what are the rates? You're looking at 8% and 0.5%. So there's a 91.5% chance you get something useless. Anyway, 90 more ancients to pull here. Looking at the same rates as we were looking at the void shards. So we will go with the one single to start off with, get the rare, and then we've got 10 pulls to do. So starting it off here, really looking for that legendary or any good epic still for this account. I'm not sure what we're looking like on the Mercy, but again, looking not to get rare taxed. Nothing too useful in this. Templar is interesting if you get him early game. You can build him to solo Bommel, I believe it is, with his block damage, but yeah, it's a full manual run and can take quite a long time. Unfortunately, being rare taxed there on the second 10 pull. Going into the third 10 pull, would like to see some golden glow. We've only got 1 legendary so far on this account, which has been a bit disappointing. To be expected, I think, so far with the amount of shards we have pulled. But again, we would like to see some more gold than just 1 for this entire account. Keep going through here, trying to avoid the rare tax, but again, it is very likely. Second rare tax on the Ancients, not what you'd like to see at this stage. Hopefully, we can pull it around in this second half of these pulls here. But again, as I always like to say, the odds are never in your favor when you're pulling off a 2x event. 2 rare taxes in a row. It hurts the heart. It really does. Especially, I also feel bad pulling on other people's accounts here and just rare taxing them. Of course, I can't do anything about it, but you know how it feels. Oh, legendary, who are we going to get? We've got a Grand Oak Podrick. Great champion. Great champion. Grand Oak Podrick is a magnificent pull. We've got 25% ally speed in dungeons by 25%. We've got a fill turn meter of all allies by 20%. Remove all debuffs from all allies and places at 30% increased speed on a 3-turn cooldown. Great move on a 3-turn cooldown. We've got a really good ally attack here using their default skills, gets everyone involved, fully restores their destroyed max HP, and then places a 15% continuous heal on all allies for 2 turns. So really good A2, really good A3, and then we've got an A1 here, which is a 25% chance of decreasing the cooldown of a random ally's active skill by 2 turns, which buffs up to a 50% chance, which can be really, really strong. So overall, his kit is incredibly good. And of course, his passive ability is really nice here too, where at the start of this champion's turn, places a buff on each ally for 1 turn, depending on their type. So great champion, especially into Hard Fire Knight with that turn meter fill, increased speed, ally attack. I mean, he's in some really good dungeon teams as well. He brings that 25% speed aura in dungeons, which is basically unheard of. So Grand Oak Podrick is a great, amazing champion, especially if he doesn't already have one on the account. He will be absolutely happy with that, and that is completely worth pulling all these Ancients. We'll keep going, because we've still got to pull the rest of them, but Grand Oak Podrick is a humongous pull for this account, and it would be basically for any account. I believe he was a guaranteed at some stage, but if you weren't playing then, weren't able to get him, he's a great option now if you're able to pull him. Stagnite, of course, spoke about him earlier. Decrease defense, decrease attack, great epic champion to build, can be used across many areas of the game, event, dungeon, Hydra, anywhere basically that you want. Keep going through, we'll be running near the end of the Ancient Shards there. There is another rare tax, but again, I don't think we're in a position to complain given the legendary that we've just pulled, Grand Oak Podrick. Another epic, 2 epics to finish it off with Hitatsu and Sakura, and that is all the shards pulled on this account. So thank you very much to Daniel for letting me pull on his account, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Welcome back to our final account for today, and that is going to be my own account, SRW Phsylax. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the rest of the shard pulls, of course, and now we have to finish it off with mine, of course, pulling for the Leonardo Swordmaster Path Event. What are we looking to do? So I've got to pull 32 of my sacred shards, so I'm using that spreadsheet to calculate how much dungeon diving, how many shards I needed to pull that I showed you guys in the previous video where I broke down the Path Event. So I'm looking at pulling at 32 sacreds. I'm pulling 6 void shards purely because I want to give myself a very tiny chance at managing to get Shredder, and then I will be pulling 75 ancient shards, and I will not be putting on any progressive for these Sacred Shards and for the Ancient Shards, just because I'm not looking for really anyone in the progressive. I'm already at 14 Sacred Shards into Mercy, so I'm looking to get at least 2 or 3 legendaries from these Sacred pools, but without further ado, feeling pretty nervous, let's get straight into it. This is going to be the most Sacred Shards I've ever pulled on my account, of course saving up for months for this event. Zelatar, interesting champion. Sleep when they're under debuffs, not great. We'll keep moving forward. He won't find much use on my account at this stage. Going into our next epic, there's a couple epics I'm really looking for on this account. Any of the Mikage fusion options like Dalaja and Ashma I'm really looking forward for, and I of course still need a Geomancer, and then there's a lot of legendaries that I would love to get. Kill on the Strike is someone I already have on this account, and he does not get any use. Legendary to start off with. Who are we looking at? And we're looking at a Holes Ring. Holes Ring. Interesting champion. Probably not that great overall. I mean, would have liked to get someone better at this stage. He's an interesting champion. So he's got a A1 which attacks one enemy 2 times. If this champion is under Veil or Perfect Veil, each hit has a 50% chance to decrease the target's turn meter by 15%, places a 15% increased attack on this champion for 2 turns if the attack's critical. So self-buffing, always be critical because you build him as a damage dealer. And he's got attack one enemy 3 times if the target is under a Hex debuff. Each hit will ignore 25% of the target's defense. Will ignore a further 25% of the target's defense if they also under decreased speed. So that's up to 50% there if he's under those 2 debuffs. And then he ignores an additional 25%. So it can go up to 75% if they're from Bannerlords or Knight Revs. So pretty strong. You can get up to 75% ignore single target hit on a 3-turn there. And then this one, Witchfinder, attacks 4 times at random. Each hit has a 75% chance of placing a Hex and a decreased speed. Hex for 3 turns, decreased speed for 2 turns. Cannot be resisted if they're from Bannerlords or Knight Revs. Each hit also has a 75% chance to steal 25% of the target's turn meter if the target is from the Bannerlords or Knight Revs, steals 50% instead, and places a Perfect Veil. So there's a fair bit of synergy on this guy. This is on a 4-turn cooldown, goes up to 100% chance. He just looks like a single target damage dealer, and there's plenty of those in the game. If this champion is attacked under a Hex debuff and a decreased speed debuff, places a Perfect Veil on them for 1 turn. This effect will not activate when counter attacking. Sorry, that should read if this champion attacks under that. So he's got lots of ways to put Perfect Veil on himself, which is good. But again, it all really comes down to his multipliers, and his reviews seem to indicate that his multipliers aren't that strong. We'll keep going through here. Still got plenty more Sacred Shards to pull. The pressure's on. Will we be able to get at least one more? Neldor. Neldor is a great champion. He's great for hard finite with the freeze. He also brings decreased attack, decreased accuracy, decreased speed. Very good champion. And then he's got a chance to attack the target with the default skill whenever an ally places a freeze. So it can be really good into hard finite, and especially in limited areas such as Cursed City. He can be very good into those here. We're looking at a Karam. Not going to be beneficial for this account whatsoever. Who are we looking at now? Masamoto. Again, I love all the Shadowkin's character designs, but not useful. Not useful. We're looking at a Salazar's Gravedirt. We've already pulled him once, I believe. He looks like he's got a Provoke and a heal reduction debuff in his account. And Maeve. Again, I can feel I'm stressing pulling all these Sacred Shards. You save up for so long and you want to get something worthwhile. Marksman is someone that is not worthwhile at this stage. Looking for someone good. Cornelia. I don't have Cornelia. So Cornelia will be a good addition to the account. She's from the Dwarf. She's got that very interesting sleep. The heal. More sleep. So she's all built around sleep. She can do some soloing, and she can be a bit of a pain when it comes to arena. So overall, a decent champion at this stage. I'll take her so far. Farrakhan the Fat. Farrakhan the Fat is a great champion. I didn't have an epic ally attacker, so I can pull him straight into some of my teams. He's got that HP burn poison. He's got that ally attack with increased crit damage, increased crit rate. And he's also got a decreased defense on his A1. And then he deflects 20% of all incoming damage across this champion receives across onto all allies, and it's spread equally. So Farrakhan the Fat, great champion. Didn't have him on my account, so I'm very, very happy with that pull. Someone I really needed, actually, because I only have one ally attacker, and that is a Lenathril, who is currently in my hard Fire Knight team. Gruckus, interesting looking skin there, interesting looking champion. But yeah, very happy with that Farrakhan the Fat pull. Very happy with that Cornelia pull. We've got an Ambassador here. He can be useful into Shogun with his Taunt. I believe I already have one, so again, won't be useful, and I already have a Shogun team. Here we have Kuniichi. Interesting champion for Shadowkin. Again, ally protect, but I already have a Taragi the Frog, so I'll probably just keep using him over her. Taragi the Frog's already built, got some blessings on him. Looking at another epic here, Skull Crusher. Not needed. We're looking at around 15 more Sacred Shards left to pull on the account so far. Hilda, I didn't end up picking up a copy, so that will be a good benefit for my accounts. Just nice to have the champions. I put all the rares together, just got to put her together and fuse her. Knights Errant, not a very useful champion so far. Keep going through. Another epic coming out. I believe this is a Bolf, who I already have. He's got interesting increased accuracy here, and he's got a buff extension by 1 turn on a 3 turn. So it can be good if you need to build a buff extension team on your account. Other than that, won't be insanely useful. Looking at a pitiless one. Again, not going to be useful here. 11 more Sacreds to pull. Looking for at least one more Legendary at this stage. Terror Beast. The dogs are so funny because their character models are so low. The camera's tilted down so much when they come out. Who are we looking for? Another epic here. Sikara. Not someone we're after. Again, really looking for a Delaja. Could be quite nice for this account in terms of epics. Anyone from Makage would be great. Galkrut. Not that useful for this account. Again, another legendary. Please be someone good. Pythion! Pythion is a great champion. Great pull. Someone I needed for my Lizardman. Pythion is an outstanding champion. He's got an AoE revive here on a 4-turn cooldown with 50% HP and 50% turn meter. Within places and strengthen on all allies for 2 turns. So great. And then he's got a big cleanse here, then heals them by 10% of their HP, heals each ally by an extra 5% of their max HP for each debuff removed, and places a block debuffs on all allies, so that's on a 3 turn. And then his A1 here is attack one enemy 2 times, heals the ally with the lowest HP for 5% of these max HP of after each hit, and that's Pythion's max HP. And then he's got allies receive 5% less damage from skills for each buff on them, stacks up to 25%. So Pythion is an outstanding champion, great for Hydra, great for Faction Wars, great for Chimera. Honestly, he might go straight into my Chimera team once I build him out here, because I'm really looking for a strong reviver on my account, and Pythion is 100% bringing that. Great block debuffs, brilliant champion, very happy with that pull. I'll call that a great success. I'm happy, I'm smiling. I was really hoping it wasn't going to be an old legendary. We'll keep going on. Pythion is a great pull. Will be especially beneficial for this account. So very happy with that so far. Adriel, not going to be a game changer at all for this account. I'll just say again, we're going down to 5 Sacred Shards. We've got a Priest Ornn, decent for early game Dragon, but again, he won't be seeing any use on my account at this stage. We've got another Fenchi here. I already have one. Was considering building him out early on when I needed some extra multi-hitters for Fire Knight, but never built him out, but that's alright. Scabrius, again, he's a good champion. Most of these epics are good champions in situations, but a lot of the time you get them when you've already moved past that and you've got other champions that can do that. So most champions in this game are great because they can serve a purpose, even if it is very niche, but a lot of the time there's a lot of overlap. Siege Hulk, they already have Siege Hulk. Siege Hulk is great. I love the animation because he's just so massive. Decent champion, 2 more Sacred Shards left to pull. So see, hopefully we can get something else. 1 more Sacred Shard. Gorlos Helms more. Final one. Epic to finish it off. And we've got a Gory here. Love her animation. Pretty cool. So overall, two legendaries from the Sacred Shards. One being a Pythion is a great start. Okay, 6 Void Shards now. Looking for Shredder. Very small percent chance. 0.5% chance of getting a legendary. And then, of course, it's around a 10 to 15% chance that you're actually going to get the champion you've got on the progressive. So only going to be pulling 6. And that's the equivalent of 1 Sacred Shard's worth of points. Expecting all rares at this stage. Be very unsurprised if we got anything that wasn't a rare. 3rd pull here. Got an epic. Got a Skytouch Shaman. Interesting revive on death. I believe she has block debuffs. I've already got a copy, so I don't need another one from her. Rare. Again, nothing interesting. Marquise. Who are we looking for? Another epic. I've already got a Oboro. Oboro is great. I use her for Faction War. She was very good when Hydra originally came out. She's got a great self buff, Perfect Veil, and then a revival on death when they receive a Perfect Veil. So she can be a really good mischief tank. Final Void Shard of today. Looking for a legendary. We've got another epic. and we've got another a Towering Titan here. Interesting. Each hit has 100% chance of placing a provoke debuff for 1 turn. Looks like a pretty interesting champion. He might see some use in my Ogren tribes. Have some affinity with Cagebreaker. So that is all the Void Shards done. No Shredder, but what can you do? So now we're going to be pulling 75 Ancient Shards. So I'll start off with the single pulls here. In terms of my Mercy, I'll just quickly check that. I don't think I'm too far into my Mercy on this account. Yeah, so 26 onto my Legendary, and I'm actually quite far into my Epic Mercy, 21 into the Epic Mercy. So definitely expecting to get the Epics, but again, nowhere near the Legendary. So wouldn't be expecting a Legendary at all. Going to be pulling down to 192 Ancient Shards here, and then we will be doing 7 10 pulls. Looking for that Legendary, of course, looking for that Golden Glow. We'll see what we can get. Alright, straight into it. Let's go. 7 10 pulls. Let's get after it. Starting it off with an Epic, we've got an Aetur, interesting champion. Not going to move the needle again much on this account at all. Apothecary is decent, and I'm going to have to summon to the Reserve Vault. So there we go. Next temple, 6 more to go, including this. Hopefully we can start it off. Another Adriel. Seen her plenty of times throughout these pulling sessions. Again, 2 epics so far from the first 2 10 pulls. Probably looking at about average rates so far. Again, wouldn't be surprised if I got rare taxed. Would hope I don't get rare taxed, but I mean, I can feel it. Yep, there's the rare tax. Pulling off a 2x, you're not going to be expecting much whatsoever. Here we go again. Another epic missionary. See if we can get some Grush the Mangler. Just really looking for those Mikage epics at this stage. I'll do another 10 pull here and just quickly check the shard count and see how many I still have left to pull after this. Plenty of rares popping up. Hellborn Sprite can be an interesting rare. If you need one, we'll double check and have a look at what we're looking. So we've got 2 more 10 pulls to go. Pulling down to 122. Hopefully we can get a legendary, but again, won't be expecting one at all at this stage. Another Spider, not a great champion. Final 10 pull. Can we finish it off with a bang? That is the question. Legendary, who are we getting? Opening Clan Fiber. I believe he got recently buffed. I'll have to double. I think he got recently buffed. I don't think he's that bad of a champion. I will have to check. I'm not that sure. I mean, it would be useful for my Barbarians. Not quite a game-changing legendary. I don't know too much about him. Attacks one enemy 2 times each. Has a 50% chance of decreasing the target's turn meter by 10, and a 50% chance of filling this target's turn meter by 10%. Attacks all enemies, heals all allies by 20% of this champion's max HP. Heals all allies under continuous heal by 30%. So he's a healer, and then he's got a removal, block buffs, and heal reduction. Then places continuous heal and block debuffs. Also has a 75% chance of removing 1 random debuff. So it's not really like at this stage, right? You just rather him just be a full cleanse with a block debuffs, and a continuous heal. Like, why is it only block buffs and heal reduction? Don't really get. Each time a continuous heal heals an ally, feels that ally's turn meter by 10%. So he gets some turn meter boosting with him. I mean, not the legendary I probably would have been looking for, but again, very lucky of me to actually hit the legendary in the first place. But I believe that is all the pulls done. I'm very lucky to hit that Pythion. I mean, Pythion is definitely the main takeaway from this pull session so far. Hit the 2 legendaries, we hit the Holes Ring, and we hit the Python. Python is an amazing champion, so I will make sure I build him out very soon alongside Sanguine Maria. Just looking at the event so far, 179k points, so I've got plenty still to farm out with some energy and some dungeon diving. But yeah, we are definitely on track to getting Leo, and I'll give you guys an update when I eventually get him. So I finally managed to finish the dungeon diving for the Leo's Path event. I had to spend around 3,000 gems and a lot of energy. I bought all the clan shop energy, but we're at 197,000 points and 580. So we should now have enough to get Leonardo. So I'm going to go down and just do it for you guys live on camera so you can see it happen. Again, we're going to get to this rank 4 chicken, and now we need to go down the middle and grab the key. I'm going to get the mythical charms. Then we're going to get this first key. Unlock this left side. Bang. Keep going down, making our way. There's lots of good goodies. I'm really looking forward to these legendary books, especially with my pull session. Now getting Leonardo, now getting Pythion, now getting Maria. I've got lots of people I need to book, so those books will be great. Keep going down now on the other side, making our way down to this second key area. I thinking about what I want to grab here. I'm probably going to get this 6-star Chaos, Epic Chaos Ore, so we'll grab that, and then we'll grab this key, unlock this final path on this side. The Soul Essence will be great here. Grab this book, and then here we go. Grab Leo's perfect 5-star soul, and that will be me done for this event. I'm not going to go and grab any of these other goodies. It might be worth pushing it, but honestly, this event was a lot of effort, a lot of saving, and then a lot of dungeon diving. I ended up doing a lot in this spider tournament as well, because for the Marius missions it all lined up. I'm not sure if it's still there. Spider turn attack, this is the most I've ever done in a single tournament, just farming out the dungeon diving. 35,000. Feel bad for this guy who I just sniped at the very end, but yeah, huge effort. Here he is. I'll show you guys right now. He's sitting in the inventory, or he should be sitting in here, unless he's gone up to the... up here. Here he is. Overfull Champion Collection. It's never that simple. Let me quickly put someone into the Master Vault. Put KO in. Grab Leonardo, and bang. 50 Legendary Champions too. Finally got that badge. And here is Leonardo, ready to go. So excited to book him. Him and Python will be on my to-do list. And then, of course, I'm not going to awaken him, but we do have the 5-star soul for him. So very, very exciting. Very happy I managed to get him. But I just want to say thank you all so much to whoever contributed their accounts for the pooling session. Of course, I wouldn't have been able to put together such a great video without you guys, so huge shout out. I hope everyone got decent champions. I hope you guys all enjoyed watching it, seeing my reaction. Of course, it's not great when you get to see 10 rares coming out from a 10 pool of primals, but it happens, and we got some cool champions in the end. So if you guys want to see me do something like this again, let me know down below. If you guys want to get involved, again, just message me and I'll give you the link to our Discord. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.